السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. وقال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم: لقد كان لكم في رسول الله أسوة حسنة لمن كان يرجو الله واليوم الآخر وذكر الله كثيرا. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى أكون أحب إليه من والده وولده والناس أجمعين. So we have entered the month of Rabiul Awwal. That's the month of the birth of the beloved Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In this month, we try to ponder on the seerah of the beloved Messenger, have seerah conferences. So I'd like to touch upon some points why we should study the life of the beloved Messenger, which is called the seerah. So first and foremost is the command or the instruction from the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as mentioned in the ayah that I mentioned in the opening. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم لقد كان لكم في رسول الله أسوة حسنة. So there has been certainly for you in the Messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala an excellent pattern or a perfect role model. So if you break down the ayah, it starts with لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ. So it's a multiple level of emphasis. So lam is for emphasis, qad is for emphasis. So certainly, without a doubt, indeed, kana is for persistence, for all times. Lakum is for you. Rasulillahi means the messenger of Allah. Uswatun hasana is the perfect role model or the perfect example. So indeed, for you at all times in the beloved Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the perfect role model. And then if we look deep, like the preposition fi is for like in the beloved Messenger. So which is, if you'll find him as the perfect role model, but you have to dig deep. You have to do a detailed study of the life of the beloved Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You have to live his life on a daily basis. You have to walk his shoes. You have to take a journey through his life. So it's meaning like an in-depth study of the seerah. So that's the first reason or the first point, like why we should study, because it's a command from the Quran. لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. Number two, it's an emphasized sunnah or emphasized practice of the Salaf, the pious predecessors, the people who came before us, the best of the generation. So Muhammad bin Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas, rahmatullah alayhi, he's the son of the beloved Sahabi Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas, radiallahu anhu. He's one of the 10 who were given the glad tidings of Jannah in this world. So he used to say that my father used to teach me seerah at a very young age, and he would say that these are stories or others, so learn them. So that's one narration from our Salaf. And then Ali bin Hussein bin Ali bin Abi Talib. So he's the grandson of Ali bin Abi Talib radiallahu anhu. So he says that I was taught seerah at a very young age. Just like I was taught seerah just like the stories, just like the short surahs of the Quran. So our pious predecessors, our Salaf, they used to give the same weight to the seerah as just like the short surahs, just like we teach our kids like the Surah Ikhlas, Surah Nas, they used to give the same weight to the seerah. And number three is to develop the love for the beloved Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the love for the Messenger is part of the Iman. As I mentioned in the hadith in the beginning, Prophet ﷺ said that none of you will have faith till he loves me more than his father, his children, and all the mankind. So loving the Prophet is part of our faith, part of our Iman. Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu, he came to the Messenger ﷺ and he said that I love you, O Messenger, but I love myself more than you. Prophet ﷺ said that you have not attained true Iman or the true faith. So he went away and then he came back later and he said that I love you more than myself. Then Prophet ﷺ affirmed that now you have attained the true Iman. So if we ask anybody in the Ummah about loving the Prophet, the answer would be a unanimous yes. But the knowledge about the Prophet in the masses is very shallow and superficial. Muslims in general don't know much about the Prophet. So you cannot love the Prophet without knowing him. So if you don't have a deep, the love for the Prophet won't be deep and sincere without a deep knowledge of the life of the beloved Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In the case of the beloved Messenger, the more we know, the more we know about the Prophet, the more we get impressed by his character, his personality, and that will lead to the love for him. And the love for the Prophet ﷺ will lead to following the Sunnah. So that's like a consequence. The result is, if you love the Prophet, you would love to emulate him, you would love to dress like him, you would love to act like him. So this is the consequence of the love of the beloved Messenger. Same as like if somebody who loves Allah would love to pray, would love to fast, would love to read the Quran. So in their examples, Amr bin al-As radiallahu anhu, in his earlier years, he was the staunchest enemy of Islam and the Prophet ﷺ. He said that the most despised person to him at that time was the beloved Messenger, and he even wanted to kill him. But then he accepted Islam on the condition of being pardoned. He narrates these in which he says that Islam erases everything prior to that. Similarly, Hijrah and Hajj erases all the prior sins. Once he knew the Prophet became the most beloved person to him. So that's number three, is to develop the love for the Prophet, which is part of our Iman. Number four, to understand the Quran. So seerah or knowing the life of the beloved Messenger helps understand Quran. Certain ayahs of the Quran were revealed at the time of certain events that happened in the life of the beloved Messenger. And that gives context, helps understand the ayahs of the Quran. We can take, for example, a short Surah Kawthar, which we all know and have memorized. And that was revealed at the time of in Mecca when Prophet ﷺ was being mocked by the Quraysh, by the Meccans, because his male child passed away. And they were saying that his legacy is cut off. That was the Jahili mindset, that he has no male children, so he has like his legacy would stop with him. So they were mocking him at that time, and then that's when the Surah Kawthar was revealed, and it was giving the bashara that you were given much better. You lost a child, but you were given a Kawthar. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أعطيناك الكوثر. Surely we have given you al-Kawthar, which means the abundance or specifically the river in Jannah. فَصَلِّ لِرَبِّكَ وَانْحَرْ. So offer prayer, salah, and sacrifice, and as a means of thanks. إِنَّ شَأْنِيَكَ هُوَ الْأَبْتَرُ. And surely it is your enemy who will be cut off, whose legacy will be cut off. It's not you, O Messenger, but it's the people who are opposing you or mocking you. Their legacy will be cut off. And we know that people who are doing that, nobody even knows their names. So it's been proven by this ayah. So that proves the point that in order to understand the Quran, we need to have a good understanding of the seerah. Number 5, to develop a Muslim identity. So Muslim Ummah is facing an identity crisis, and that has to do with the detachment to the history, to our deep history. There's a famous saying of a Russian historian, Alexander Solzhenitsyn. So he said that in order to destroy people, you have to first sever their roots. So if you want to destroy people, you have to sever their roots first. So we need to have very strong roots. That starts with knowing our history. So reading our history, starting with the lives of the prophets, and especially the life of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then further the lives of the Khulafai Rashidin and the rest of Islamic history. So in-depth study of the seerah is integral. It's integral to preserve our roots and our Muslim identity. That's number 5. Number 6. His life served as a proof of his risala, his prophethood. In the first 40 years of his life, he lived a rather ordinary life. He had an exemplary character. He used to be called Sadiq al-Amin, but he did not do anything out of the ordinary. But in the last 23 years, he did so much. Like he was the military leader, he was the political leader, he was the imam. He presented the most miraculous book. Even though he was illiterate, he didn't know how to read or write. And that can only be explained by divine help. That explains his prophethood, his risala. So his life serves as a proof of his prophethood, that he was a messenger from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number 6. Number 7, so why we should study? Because he is the greatest of all. He is the greatest man to ever walk on this earth. So whatever criteria we use for greatness, he will come out on top as the greatest or the best. He was the best family man. He was the best religious leader. He was the best political leader, and so the list goes on. So he was the greatest of all. This is one of the I would say the last reason that we should be studying because he's the greatest person to ever walk on this earth. So just to recap, just a few points that I discussed why we should study the life of the beloved Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. First and foremost is the command from the Quran. لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. So indeed, for you in the beloved Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the perfect role model. So he's a perfect role model if we go take a deep dive in the life of the beloved Messenger and know his life better. So then it will be like a perfect role model for us. So that's number 1. Number 2 is the emphasized practice of the Salaf. Our predecessors, they used to taught their young children the seerah, just like the short surahs of the Quran. They used to give the same weight to the seerah. And then number 3 is to develop the love for the beloved Messenger, which is part of our iman. And once we have the love for the Messenger, then the emulation, the following the footsteps, the sunnah following the Sunnah would be far easier. And number 4 is to understand the Quran, to have context to the verse of the Quran. We need to know the Sirah. I mentioned the example of this Surah Kawthar, and then the circumstances around its revelation. And number 5 is to develop a strong Muslim identity. So a deep understanding or deep connection to the Sirah will help preserve our roots and our Muslim identity. And number 6 is his life serves as a proof of his prophethood, because he did so many things in 23 years that can only be explained by divine help. And number 7 is that he was the greatest of all. By all criteria, he was the best family man, literally the political leader. So he's the greatest person, greatest man to ever walk on the face of the earth. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله رسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. إن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وأحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة. استغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروا إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك سميع مجيب الدعوات. اللهم أجرنا من النار اللهم أجرنا من النار اللهم أجرنا من النار. اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا يا كريم. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. عباد الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. أقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر.
الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. سبح اسم ربك الأعلى الذي خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى والذي أخرج المرعى فجعله غثاء أحوى سنقرئك فلا تنسى إلا ما شاء الله إنه يعلم الجهر وما يخفى ونيسرك لليسرى فذكر إن نفعت الذكرى فيذكر من يخشى ويتجنبها الأشقى الذي يصلى النار الكبرى ثم لا يموت فيها ولا يحيا قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى. الله أكبر.
الله.
سمع الله لمن حمده.
ربنا لك الحمد.
الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده.
ربنا لك الحمد.
الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. There's a request for dua for Shafiq Rahman in California. She has fourth-stage pancreatic cancer. So please make a dua for her recovery. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى سيدنا محمد. اللهم اشف اللهم اشف مرضى المسلمين يا الله يا رحمن يا رحيم. Yes. To give the sister complete recovery, help her with her pain and other symptoms of the disease. وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. I have just a few announcements. As you know, we have the food pantry, but this week we are not able to provide the food. As I've requested, volunteers and donations would really help. We have applied for a grant from Lake County to help provide us with like a driver and stuff, so we can provide the food throughout the whole week. So we have it ready for Fridays, and we also do it on Sundays and Niles. So if you guys could please help donate and also volunteer time, we would really appreciate it. The other request was for the furnaces that have went out. We have an invoice of $40,000 so far. We have raised $1,700 ourselves, and Urgent Care in Schaumburg has matched it with another $1,700. So we still have a long ways to go. So please help donate, because when winter comes and the temperature drops, it's not just that we're going to be cold, but the water, the pipes, they will bust, and that will be a lot bigger expenses. And we don't want to see anything like that happen. So please find it in your heart, donate time or monetarily, whatever you can do. It will be really appreciated. May Allah reward you. And every Saturday of every month, after Maghrib Namaz, we have tafsir. So please come join us. After tafsir, we will have snacks and food, and come share it. Bring your family, bring your friends. Whether they are Muslims or not, you can bring them. We have the translation in English and help guide others as well. And may Allah reward you. Jazakallah khair.